You're tuned in to Tailgate Talk, where the grill is hot, the drinks are cold, and the sports stories never stop. Hosted by DB Cooper and IddyBiddy Ute, and produced by Hollywood. Grab a plate, pull up a chair, and let's get this tailgate started.
So I say, do you love me? And she goes, no, but that's a real nice ski mask.
I'm DB Cooper. Been a lifelong University of Utah fan, 40-something years. This is my co-host here, IddyBiddy Ute. I'm going to tell you why I'm a University of Utah fan. You got it? I'm a University of Utah fan because this is what I've done my whole life. I have dedicated my life to the University of Utah athletics. It's what I've always wanted to be. It's where I've always wanted to do. It's everything I've ever wanted to say and feel is University of Utah athletics. It's what I've dreamed about. It's what I daydreamed about in school. When the teacher's up there saying 2 + 2 = 6, I'm sitting there thinking, it's 28 hours until the Rose Bowl. You get what I'm saying. It's in my blood. More than that, tailgating is a part of my life. If you opened up my heart and peeled it back layer by layer, you would see at the final layer is the tailgate spot, the grateful red tailgate. That's really how I met IddyBiddy Ute. Go ahead, IddyBiddy Ute.
Yeah, I can't follow that up. 2 + 2 = 6 is great math, by the way.
Thank you.
I'm IddyBiddy Ute. Not a lifelong Utah fan. Was a BYU fan. Lived in California. Had family friends play for the team down south. And so it was kind of like, oh, we're going to cheer for this guy. We know him. Moved to Salt Lake City in 98. Met DB. And he took me to about 3 games in 2001. And then a gentleman named Urban Meyer came into town, same with Alex Smith. And so I was pretty hooked. And then the Fiesta Bowl happened, and haven't looked back. Die hard ever since. More than DB even, which is kind of crazy. Anyways, tailgating is another passion of mine. It's where you can kind of forget the world's problems, and sit with the boys, have a drink, talk about food, talk about the game, talk about football.
It's where we can also just kick absolute ass on the cornhole table and never get challenged at it.
No, I think, was it 2021?
Undefeated.
Yeah.
Undefeated.
No. We smoked you that one year.
One year, but 2023, another story.
I mean, injuries. We could play the injury card on that year. We weren't there mentally.
Backup quarterback.
My shoulder was hurting. But overall, I think we have like a 92% win percentage.
Hollywood, I'd love to. Can we turn the question back to you and get to know you a little bit more?
Yeah, I grew up in a household of BYU fans, and identical twin brother, that super competitive between the two of us. And so at a young age, my whole household was BYU Cougars and San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah.
And so I said, all right, I'm going to be the opposite. So started cheering for the University of Utah, and unfortunately started cheering for the Dallas Cowboys. And so when I was a kid, the Cowboys thing worked out pretty well. And it was a tough sled for me as a Utah fan. But, you talked about Urban Meyer coming to town and turning things around. That's not a bad wave to be on when you live in a house full of Cougars. So, but it's gotten heated over the years. There were 3 or 4 years in a row where my twin brother would come up to my house and he would paint a BYU Y on my lawn. Consequently, every year he did that, Utah beat the trucks off of BYU. So ultimately I didn't mind, but there's a natural born rivalry between BYU and Utah that hits home for me. So
is it still that way? Is it still you're the only Ute?
My oldest brother Zach and my older sister Brittany. Zach's been a Utah fan his whole life, and Brittany, I think, I'm not sure when she started cheering for the Utes. I think when she married her husband Dave, he was a big Utah guy. He had season tickets, and so it was natural for her to start cheering, and that was when they were starting to win. So easy math for her, 2 + 2 = 6.
Damn straight.
The tailgate thing, that's something that I started doing with you guys, coming up to the tailgate, doing the cornhole, barbecuing, and, even my son Xander, he's now becoming a fan. He's got a University of Utah drum and feather painted on his wall. Are we going to do the tailgate, Dad? Like, that's the one thing that he looks forward to the most. And so, we're getting him in on the action at an early age.
I know that we met recently. We haven't known each other for life, so I don't know if you know this, but I growing up during Holy War week, I would shave a U into the back of my head. And have you thought about doing that for your son?
I have not, but funny story. I run a fantasy football league with some guys in my neighborhood. And one year I decided, hey, we should do a punishment for the guy who comes in last place. We should do a haircut for the loser chosen by the winner. Turns out that year I lost. And it was between the Friar Tuck or a BYU Y in the back of my dome. And they chose the Y. And I had to keep that in my hair for a week. It was brutal.
That's
It always the guy that always comes up with the idea for the punishment always loses.
Yeah,
always.
I've learned my lesson on that one. I haven't proposed any punishments since then.
I appreciate the backstories on the Utah fandom. It brings something up that I did want to talk about too with fandom and get your guys' take. So I feel like I've always been in the consensus as far as Utah State goes as a Utah fan. I know not every Utah fan feels this way, but I feel like the consensus of Utah fans feel like Utah State is our true little brother. They're the littlest brother that we enjoy and we're friends with. I cheer for Utah State in any game that doesn't directly involve Utah. When Utah State plays BYU, I cheer not as hard as I'm cheering for Utah, but just about as close. You know, like I want to see the Aggies win, especially beating BYU. How are we feeling about Bronco being back up there just really quickly? Can I get anyone's take on that real quick?
I think it's money for the state. Like you said, I mean, I'm the same way. I love the Aggies. I'll cheer for them all day. Unless we're playing him, but I think he's the kind of guy that would, kind of turn it around. Kind of feel like he's a little Gary Anderson in him, you know?
True. Gary Anderson's
Maybe
cool.
not.
I mean, Virginia sucked for, I don't know how long Virginia sucked for, forever. They were awful. He turned them around, got them to bowl games, competing in the ACC. Then New Mexico, I think they were coming off a winless season, got them to 5 wins the following year, which was last year. So, like, he obviously rebuilds schools, but, like, I also feel like as far as a BYU coach and in their circles, he's so disrespected for, like, what he did in guiding them through the independence era, you know, and like, consistently getting 10 wins down there is kind of crazy. But, like, I saw a poll the other day, so I'm kind of zigzagging here, but I just feel like there's not enough love down in Provo for Bronco. I think he's weird and quirky, but, like, he won a lot of games for them, and, like, they were competing for conference championships and upsetting teams, whatever.
He did recruit the 2025 Heisman winner in Devin Dampier, so it's kind of cool.
Yeah. When did he do that?
Did he not?
No, I think Devin stayed with. Well, I guess probably re-recruited him to New Mexico. Dev's a redshirt sophomore. Last year, I think, was his redshirt freshman year.
Yeah.
He redshirted the year before Bronco at New Mexico. Great. I think. I could be wrong. I don't know if I don't know if the producer could. I don't know. I don't know if he could type something during this and see.
Was recruited by Coach Gonzalez's staff.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We don't want to be fake news.
No. I'll take it back to the BYU fans, though. I remember BYU fans calling for Bronco Mendenhall's head and wanting him out of there. Win season after win season. And then they had a tough, if I remember right, they had a tough year right after. And I remember sitting back going, careful what you wish for.
People forget, like, had a global pandemic not broken out, Kalani Sitake would have been fired 3 years ago for sure. Like,
absolutely.
The pandemic, that 2020 season saved. He was gone the following year, and his seat was extremely hot last year. Like, if things didn't go good last year, Kalani was gone. Yeah, Scott Gerard puts out a Twitter poll 2 weeks ago and says if both careers ended today, Bronco and Kalani, who would be the second best coach in Utah or in BYU program history? And it was like 70-30 for Kalani over Bronco. And I looked at that and I'm like, that's why I'm saying the disrespect Bronco gets is insane. Have you looked at this week's betting schedule, IddyBiddy?
Betting schedule?
Yeah, just the games that are on. Have you looked at any of the betting lines this week?
Oh, a handful. Let's see here. Holly, have you?
Pulling them up right now.
Game
I'll
of the
go
week.
ahead. Yeah,
Game of the
give
week.
us
You
the
announce it.
rundown, please. Give us who's playing at where, or if it's a neutral, and what the spread is, please.
All right, hold the phone. According to my calculations, we have 5 games. Idaho State at UNLV. UNLV is a 24.5-point favorite. Kansas hosting Fresno State. Kansas is a 13-point favorite. Then we have Sam Houston at Western Kentucky, 10 points to Western Kentucky. Stanford on the island, going to Hawaii, 2.5-point favorites to Hawaii. That's wild. That game intrigues me. And then the game of the week, Iowa State, Kansas State in Ireland. I mean, this game could swing how the Big 12 goes this year to kick off the year. That's insane.
It's a huge game. Iowa State, Kansas State, Farmageddon in Ireland.
I hate that.
Over my dead body, if they ever put the Holy War week 0, not even week 1, week 0 in Ireland, if they ever do that to the Holy War.
Yeah, give me Georgia State or Georgia Tech, Florida State in Ireland, but
and as a neutral fan, I love that it's Kansas State, Iowa State for me. I just if it was Utah, I'd be pissed, and especially if it was Utah versus BYU. If it's Utah versus Notre Dame, sign me up.
What's the furthest Holy War game could be scheduled that you wouldn't travel for?
I mean, I'm going to I'm going wherever it is. If it's in Ireland, I'm going. But they're also going to give every mission and every stake and every member on that continent free tickets to the game. It's going to be a home field advantage. There's going to be 10 Utah fans there.
Yeah, 95% BYU fans.
So to answer your question, I'll travel to beep that. I'll travel to Portugal. I don't know, Honduras, Japan. I'm trying to think of things on. Where's Honduras? Is Honduras by Taiwan? Germany. I'll go. I'll go anywhere. I have to. I want to go to Ireland. I just don't want to go for the Holy War.
Thoughts about the Holy War in Vegas?
I wouldn't love it. I personally, I just think I like the Holy War on campus. I like rivalry games on campus. I think that's one of the beauties of college football is on-campus games. I'm going to if it were in Vegas, I'm going to that, but wouldn't like it. What about you?
I mean, I'd go to it. I think Vegas would be cool. Like if it was going to be neutral, it's got to be Vegas.
I don't know. It would not be neutral down there. There's so many LDS people down there. No, they would kill us.
Wait, you don't think Salt Lake would travel?
I think we would. Yeah, I think we would. I think what would be a sicker neutral game. It would have to be hypothetical, but us eventually getting an NFL team and doing it neutral in Salt Lake. 50-50, just like the Red River shootout. You know, half the stadium's red, half the stadium's blue. And at a NFL stadium, but like true neutral, you know, in the state of Utah.
So do you not like the Texas-Oklahoma, the Cotton Bowl? Like, would you prefer that to be a home and home rather than a neutral? I don't know when they started doing the Cotton Bowl. I think that's just always been the thing. So like, that's just part of like the history of college football. Yeah, young Jamie. Cut up, Jamie.
When did Oklahoma and Texas start playing in the Cotton Bowl? The Red River, I believe it's been their whole entire existence has been there, which I think is sick. But yeah,
Georgia, Florida.
I like that. The world's biggest cocktail party. Like you got to have a name for it too.
That's sick.
So I'm for Georgia, Florida. Those are true neutrals too. Like they're pretty. Like Dallas is pretty close to Norman.
1934 was the first year they started playing it. Here's a hot take. By 2032, the Holy War is played at a single location, and it's an NFL stadium in Salt Lake City. Hot take.
A franchise or is Salt Lake buying a team?
I think they buy a team and bring it in. I don't think they're.
Think the NFL's done?
I don't know. I just think so. I think the Millers get an MLB team. Them in Nashville. I think the Millers they get an expansion team by 2029. I think Nashville gets the other MLB team, and I just think the way Utah is growing, I think it makes sense to get an NFL team as well. We've got the infrastructure, and by then, when do the Olympics come back here? 2032.
Yeah.
You put that on the roadmap and say, hey, we're going to have an NFL team, and now that becomes the opening, closing ceremonies place. So then you take that infrastructure money, use that to build a big stadium. Oh, by the way, hey, now we have this big stadium. Let's get an expansion team, or let's buy a team and bring them up to Salt Lake.
What if would you be down for them just building the NFL stadium where Rice Eccles is currently at, and just let us share?
We need some donors the way BYU's got. They're spending money right now.
No, not if it's paid for by the Olympics and
Federal funding.
and some tax help, and then a billionaire family.
Do you think they level Rice Eccles though if they did something like that, or would they just add on to it?
I think they would just level it and start over, build a beautiful NFL stadium.
Where do they go? Where do we put the stadium? The flats?
Well, you go out west. There's still a lot of property out west of West Jordan. Put it up on the hillside by the Kennecott property. Have Kennecott get some land, and that's a beautiful site that overlooks Salt Lake, and undeveloped.
As far as your hot take goes, I do not think that the MLB part is a hot take of your take.
It's a done deal, I think.
Yeah, I think it's a done deal as well. I don't necessarily think the NFL is. I think that is starting to get to the hot take. I don't think everyone agrees with that. I do share that opinion with you that I think we do get an NFL team. I think the hottest take is an NFL team by 2032 is, in my mind, wild, but I think that's the hottest part of the take.
What do you guys think that does for the big two football schools here?
Not much, just because college football is played on Saturdays and NFL is played on Sundays. I mean, if you're talking like corporate sponsors, I think it gets hard. That's why I'm not a big proponent of supporting the Jazz, just because it hurts Utah, not necessarily in attendance for basketball, but corporate sponsor wise, the money wants to go to the pros, not the college team. So it hurts the university in that aspect. So in that aspect, an NFL team would hurt, I think, both Utah and BYU, but I don't think it would, USC didn't shut down because the Rams came back to town, same with UCLA. So what do you think?
Holly?
Yeah, I mean, when you're making a choice to go play somewhere, do you want to play in a city that also has an NFL team? So interesting. Half of the NFL teams are played in a city where there's also an MLB team. And so I think once a city gets big enough to support an MLB team, it makes sense to have a fan base for an NFL population.
I will be tailgating. I just want on record when we get an NFL team, I'll be tailgating Saturdays and Sundays.
Yeah, we went to a Penn State game, and it's insane the difference of fandom out in Pennsylvania is, because people were driving from Philly and Pittsburgh to go to State College, and it was Friday night. They drive their RV there, they camp overnight, they're there all day, tailgate all day, go to the game, and then they drive back Sunday, and they either go tailgate for the Eagles game or the Steelers game, and it's like the whole weekend. And a lot of the people we talked to...
What's going to do in Philadelphia? Santa Claus?
People were taking work off Mondays, every Monday during the football season, because they had to recover a little before they went back to work. It was insane. What do we name the baseball team?
I don't know what we name them, but my vote is I want the Golden Spikes. It was the goals. I wanted the goals. I now want the Golden Spikes.
I'm all in on the goals still.
Black and gold.
Goals.
The goals.
Yeah, I don't want anything to do with that shitty city in Pittsburgh. So
I mean, it's in the Power District. Why don't we call them the Utah Shockers?
Shock the nation, baby.
Seriously, what colors do you do for the Shockers?
Pitching wedge.
I'm assuming, IddyBiddy, that you go with goals, the classic logo and uniforms, the teal and orange.
I kind of like it. Yeah, stands out to the rest of the league.
Do you do goals with two Z's?
Glizzy goals.
I mean, it's going to be owned by the Millers. You don't think that that's not going to be an ode to Larry Miller?
Golden Spikes with the Z.
You think it would be the Millers? Not right.
Yeah, it's the Millers. It's the Millers. Who'd you think it was?
Sorry, I was thinking football for a second.
Do you guys treat week 0 of college football as the one last chance to do chores around the house and be present, or is it the kickoff to watching for you? Like, how attentive are you going to be on Saturday?
I'll be attentive for the Iowa State Kansas game,
That's
but
fair.
Probably just follow my phone for the rest.
Yeah, we've got so my son just started playing football, so we'll do that. But we've been so long without football that I'm probably going to take in as much as I can. as much as I can watch.
I like that. I feel like I always bet the Ireland game. I say always. It's only been like 3 years, but I bet that. I like it. I think we had Georgia Tech, Florida State last year. Bet it. Won. Georgia Tech money line. Let's go. The year before that got rocked. I think it was Notre Dame, Nebraska. And I love to think that Nebraska's back. And they got absolutely rocked. I can't remember who the year was before. That'd be nice if young Hollywood looked that up for us. But
Bailey. Bailey.
This year I like Iowa State plus the points. I think it's at 3.5 last I saw. I'm taking that this week. And then I'm taking Rocco Beck, our quarterback, with its quarterback, over 1.5 passing touchdowns. Don't know what the odds are on that yet, but whatever that is at game time, that's what I'm taking. I'll tell you how I treat this weekend as week 0. Kind of same way as IddyBiddy does as far as what I'm going to be paying attention to, but also it's my last weekend to save up for gambling for the year. I need to just get my feet wet. But if I go absolutely ham for week 0, then I have nothing for week 1. And then I'm absolutely screwed. But I want to get my feet wet with one bet, so I need to hold myself to just the 2 bets that I said.
It's going to be my question. When you go into a betting week, do you go early games and build up a bankroll? Do you wait until you see a good line that you like and then go heavy on that? What's your strategy when you go into betting on college football?
For me, it strictly depends on how disciplined I am. If I'm being extremely disciplined and smart with my bets, then I try to the hardest part about college football and betting it is you do have all day, and so it's really easy to be undisciplined and bet the whole entire slate or most of the day and always have a game going, and that's fun, but it's not smart. So if I'm trying to be disciplined and smart, I think 3 to 4 games is the sweet spot. 4 is pushing it, but pick out 1 to 3 of your favorite bets and stick with that, and don't chase. If you go 0-3, don't chase for a 4th game. If you go 3-0, don't put all your winnings on a 4th game that you didn't love before. You just got to stick with it. But when I'm undisciplined, I'm trying to bet every hour.
What's the percentage of you being disciplined versus undisciplined?
It's not great. College football kills me. I'm good on just about every other sport, but college football absolutely kills me on not being disciplined. I'm good on NFL being disciplined. College basketball I'm good on. I'm pretty good on baseball being disciplined now after some rough years. But college football I haven't been able to figure out on being most disciplined. I let it fly.
My problem is I bet with my heart. So I'm always betting on the Utes, always betting on the Chicago Bears. And
25 years for you, bud.
32, pal.
Self-confidence.
Anyway, dude, the teaser's the way to do it in college football.
I love the teaser.
You got to do a teaser.
How many points do you usually try and bet up to? Do you try and get 4, or do you try and go more with more teams?
3 or 4. Maybe if I'm feeling cute and spicy, depending on what the food is at the tailgate, 5.
Do you follow the rules? So I've always heard you never cross the line. So if a team has a 3-point spread that they're the favorite, do you bet until they go positive, or do you bet up the underdog?
Never thought of that. I don't know.
There's theories out there that you never cross that line. You never go from a favorite to positive. You always, if you think that the line's going to change that much, you always go for the underdog and get more points.
I like that. Go ahead.
I'm not a big teaser guy. I like them, but I don't love them. I thought it was 6.5 in football. I thought it was a touchdown. Am I making that number up? It's been a minute since I've bet teasers.
It depends on how many. It depends. 1, it depends on where you bet, but 2, it depends on the number of teams that you're betting on.
Like a 3-leg teaser, isn't it generally 6 points?
And you can usually do 6 points.
So I like to find a 6-point-ish favorite and get it as close to even as possible. I don't like crossing the line, going from a 3-point favorite or a 3-point underdog to a 3-point.
Especially if they're home, right? Because they always get 3 points at home.
Generally in the NFL, that's the rule.
So it's still a toss-up.
I always like adding the points to the underdog if I'm going to do a teaser.
It's probably the smartest. It just doesn't
Week
make me
0
feel comfortable.
is perfect for that. 5 games, do 5 or pick 4.
So give me your perfect 3-team teaser. IddyBiddy. Who are you taking in the Iowa State game?
Iowa State plus the points. Hell, I think I'll bet money line on them too with DB.
I'm taking them plus points.
UNLV at
Right now you've got a line of 3. So you take Iowa State, that's plus 9. I like that because you think it's going to be a tight game with a spread like that.
Yep.
Rivalry game, neutral field. It's gonna be close.
Who's your 2 and 3?
To your theory, I would probably have to take Stanford in the points.
Going to Hawaii.
Yep. But I do like UNLV at
It'd be
home.
interesting to see what visiting teams do when they travel to Hawaii, because it'd be hard to imagine 18, 19, 20-year-old kids going to Hawaii, some of them for the first time in their life, doing things other than prepping for a game.
Week 0, Stanford's a mess. I don't even know if they have a quarterback. Andrew Luck's like running the thing, but he's the general manager. But like, I want to take Hawaii in that game. I don't like that game.
See, Hawaii's a 2.5 point favorite. They're favored at home.
Yeah. I don't know about the teaser, but
that's probably
like
a game
Hawaii
to stay away from. But for
But
sure,
I don't think Hawaii beats them by 10 points.
Well, they don't. Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, Stanford's quarterback is now BYU's starter. I don't even know who their quarterback is. I just know that BYU's starter transferred from Stanford.
I think the other lock is Kansas at home. They are favored by minus 13, but the teaser would get me to what? 9.5? 9?
Wait, they're favored?
Kansas by 13. So the teaser would get me what?
If it's a 6 point, it's just a touchdown.
Kansas would drop them to 6.5 point.
Love that.
7. Swing by touchdown.
There's my 2 locks right there. Iowa State.
Got Kansas at home plus the 6.
Yep.
Iowa State plus 9.5.
And UNLV plus 16.5 or minus 16.5. Sorry.
Oof. UNLV would be minus 20 because they're a 26.5 point spread.
I have them at 24, but
Dude, I'm so excited to watch UNLV this year, guys.
yeah.
Dan Mullen. They're not only do they have some Utah boys with the Jag. We need to go over what the Jag means. I don't know if you know who the Jag is, Hollywood, but we need to cover that at some point. They have that connection, but their transfer class was nuts. They have Michigan's dude that lost a starting job last year. He's like a 5-star quarterback. They have all these former like 4 and 5 stars. It's like last chance you all of a sudden Dan Mullen's created.
Love that. There's my locks. UNLV, Kansas, Iowa State. Stamp it. IddyBiddy Fairways approves.
We'll call that the par 3 lock of the day or the week.
We have like a
par 3 lock.
Yeah. I mean, I hate the Western Kentucky, Sam Houston. The Hawaii Stanford is scary. There it is. There's the lock.
I like it.
Let's talk about tailgate locks of the week. Not a heavy tailgate because University of Utah's not playing. What food are you eating for the week 0?
I'll go first really quickly. I am grilling for sure. Either burgers or brats, probably both. Probably burgers for the kids, smash burgers maybe, and a couple brats for me and the wife as a celebration. Me and Mrs. DB as a celebration for the football season kicking off.
Love that.
IddyBiddy.
I'll be in St. George, so I will be eating out, most likely.
Lucky Mrs. IddyBiddy. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I like that. What about you, Hollywood? Do you have any tailgate locks of the week?
You know, I love smoking. I'll probably smoke some
Paul
brat,
Mel's or Camels?
a little hickory.
American Spirits?
Yeah. No, I like I usually do some brats. Big fan of brats, especially on the Traeger. Set it. How do you cook your brats, Coop?
I've done the Traeger smoke for brats, but generally just a grill.
Grill.
Did you ever boil them in Budweiser?
No, but that is like the way.
It's good.
That's the way the Chicagoans do it.
I'm surprised Mr. Chicago turned his nose up at that when I said it.
Yeah, that hurts. I went to a tailgate, Lambeau Field, Packers, Bears, and experienced brats for the first time in my life 20 plus years ago. Insane tailgating atmosphere there. Must do.
So let me ask you this, because I was talking to someone just recently that went up to Green Bay and was talking about a hamburger that they had where they spread peanut butter on the buns and said that it was
Lucky 13.
One of the best burgers that they've ever had, and they said that it's huge in Green Bay, but it's not catching on anywhere else in the country. It's like Utah and fry sauce. And so that might be one of the tailgate tryouts that we do this year is peanut butter on a smash burger.
I like it.
I wouldn't
I'd be
say
down
no.
for that.
Roll Tide.
If Blackstone wants to sponsor that and get us a tailgate, their tailgate edition, Blackstone, we could definitely make that a paid segment for them.
Quick thought here. THOT. We're playing, and he does like the cleanliness inspections at restaurants here in Utah. Any idea what the cleanest restaurant he has zero worries about? State of Utah.
McDonald's. I have something like that, but it's McDonald's manufacturing is the cleanest.
In-N-Out Burger.
Sorry.
It's not even close.
Really?
Every night they hire a professional cleaning crew, and they come in at 3 a.m.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
I like that a lot.
Pretty sick. Cheapest menu. I'm sold, dude.
Yeah,
Go
to
to
keep
lunch
it
there every
simple.
day. Yeah.
I feel like everyone tries to show up and do like complicated stuff. Just dude, the amount of cars they churn through that drive-through is unreal.
It's wild.
But they focus on quality, whether it's cleanliness or their meat. It's just all quality.
So one question I had for the gentleman on the podcast today, we talk about food, talk about tailgating. What's the best tailgate spot you've ever been to? Could be inside Utah, outside of Utah. And then second question, the big three in Utah, BYU, Utah State. Have you been to all three, and how would you rank the three as far as tailgating goes? IddyBiddy, we'll start with you.
Been to 16 opposing stadiums, and I would say Penn State number 1 with Oklahoma State number 2 as far as tailgates. Besides ours, of course, ours goated. Penn State, they drive in from all over Pennsylvania and other states, get there Friday night, sleep over. They have the grills cooking first thing in the morning, breakfast, lunch, dinner if it's a night game. They still sleep over there. They got the grills after the game. And they have these like fields right outside the stadium, and it's just covered with people, covered with RVs, regular tents. It was so sick. In terms of state of Utah, Utah's by far number 1. I would say Utah State number 2, and then BYU number 3. Not even close.
I like that.
Huge gaps from Utah State, then BYU.
I mentioned earlier my twin brother's a BYU fan, hates BYU's tailgate. He went down there one year, and they had people coming over to his tailgate telling him to turn the music down.
Yeah, they don't tailgate there. It's I was there a couple of years ago to tailgate literally out of the back of a tailgate, not for a Utah game. It was for a Texas Tech game. We tailgated out of the back of a tailgate, old school style, but there was no actual tailgating going on. It's just like one row of like commercial style tailgating. We kind of have that over like the Smiths tailgate across from the tailgate lot. Like there's commercial stuff. I don't even know if Utah State, I know they have some fans that tailgate up there. I don't think they have a dedicated, to my knowledge, I don't know that they have a dedicated tailgate lot. I think that's bare minimum is having a dedicated tailgate lot. To be a good tailgating school, you have to have at least one dedicated lot. And if you don't have that, you can't be on the list. So Utah has one. It's small. We have a dedicated one. And then I don't think the other two do at all. They suck. 2 and 3, not even close. I got to give a shout out to Big Ten tailgating because I would say my favorite is Michigan tailgates. They go all out on the golf course. They have a golf course right across the stadium, and they allow their tailgaters. Their main tailgate lot is on the golf course. They drive their RVs and their cars on the golf course everywhere but the greens, and then they replace the sod every Monday throughout the whole golf course to have it brand new again. I would say like that the dedication to that, and like every RVs is so sick and like custom made, and people been there. You can tell they've been tailgating in their specific spot on the second hole fairway for 40 years or whatever. Just sick. I think Big Ten tailgating slept on. I think for some reason like we perceive the South to have like the most superior tailgating in the country. I think it can be good because of the weather, but I have to give one of the most depressing tailgate scenes I've ever seen. The University of Florida, one of the all-time worst tailgating schools I've ever seen. We were there opening week on a Saturday, so it's not weekday Thursday game with any excuse. Saturday game, prime time, 5 or 7 o'clock kickoff, perfect time, and there was no tailgating. Again, we could not. I walked around the whole entire campus and could not find a dedicated tailgate lot anywhere the whole time. There were little tailgate people throughout the campus, but no one lot. And then not one person was nice to the crew walking around. So one of the all-time worst tailgate scenes, the University of Florida. You never expect it.
Yeah. To add to that, I think, Florida was very disappointing. I think Waco was another disappointing one, probably because it was 120 degrees out there. No one could. You can't do that. You can't do it. You can't go to the game and tailgate all day in that weather. So I get
stand in front of a hot grill at 120 degrees.
Yeah. Maybe it's better in October and November, but yeah, it was awful.
So you guys have also been to some bowl games. What do you have any favorite bowl game tailgating?
I mean,
Rose
yeah, tailgating. Tailgating at the Rose Bowl on the golf course is unbeatable.
Yeah, when you started mentioning the golf course, that's exactly where my mind went to, was the Rose Bowl.
It's the same. It's the same thing for Michigan. They just take it like one step further in maintaining the golf course.
Yeah, the blimp flying around, sitting there on the fairway, dude. That was so sick.
And you got the parade as well, which all kind of like entangles in together as part of the experience.
I think that's the only good tailgating bowl game, because generally you have to fly to them or drive long, so like people don't take. I don't know. I think the Rose Bowl's the only one within a tailgating tradition. Like, been to the Sugar Bowl. You're not tailgating in downtown New Orleans, but you don't really want to either. A bourbon shirt's fun enough. I haven't been to any other, like the other bowl games. I haven't been to any other BCS or New Year's Six bowl games, but all the other bowl games I've been to, there's been just the corporate tailgates, which are fine, but nothing.
So you mentioned the Sugar Bowl. Best Utah game you've ever been to witness live? DB Cooper, we'll start with you this time.
This is a hard one. Sugar Bowl has like sentimental factor, but I think for me it's got to be a loss. Ohio State Rose Bowl, I think, is the best game I've ever witnessed live. Final answer.
IddyBiddy?
Damn. I'm trying to think of something to separate my answer, because that game was, I don't think you could top that game ever. I just remember. I mean,
outside of us winning.
Yeah, of course. I just remember this moment in the Rose Bowl. This will be quick. It was like the sun was setting. We're going in the fourth quarter. 22 forever just happened. We had John Stockton sitting a row behind us.
Yeah, right behind us.
Yeah, Blimp was up above. You could see like the sunset on the helmets. Like, I almost cried in that moment. That was so sick. But I think I got to go with the 2022 Pac-12 championship.
Yeah, that's
underdogs, 11-1, Lincoln Riley, Caleb Williams. Their fans were saying, the home cooking. It's the only reason you won the first one. We went through every single emotion. We were down 14-0. I was like, here we go. We're going to get blown out. And then the comeback in prime cam, like, it was just, you can't beat that.
Was that the first year the Pac-12 championship was played in Vegas?
No, the year before. Yeah, it was the second.
Yeah.
We beat Oregon the year before, the first time in the Vegas.
That's right.
That's probably another one up high on that list, because it was like 90% Utah fans in that stadium. It was so damn loud.
I love your pick. That I could. It's like those 4 games from that span of like Ohio State Rose Bowl, USC Pac-12 championship, Oregon Pac-12 championship, and Oregon at home, and our USS Marine unis with Britton Covey returning it, that are like any 4 of those games. I think it might be a little bit of recency bias too, but I also think it was the story of that year with Ty Jordan passing away, then Aaron Lowe passing away, then we lose to BYU, we lose to San Diego State, then all of a sudden Rising and Thick Boy 7, and we go into USC and beat them for the first time in 100 years down there when we weren't it's just something special about just that time frame. Is like, that was so much more than just football, but then we were also dominating teams as well. It seemed like the team was playing for more than what a typical college football team plays for, and the fans got to be a part of that as well, because we were grieving as well as just as fans. Obviously not as, we weren't grieving more than the players and coaches, but I know I was grieving. Like, it sucks. You think you're going to see a player for 4 years and they tragically pass away. I don't want like my kids to go up to you and fear for their lives or anything. But like, so I don't know. I was grieving that year, and to see them go out. I remember seeing a lot of tweets after Aaron Lowe died, especially like it doesn't matter if we win another game this year. We're just proud that this team shows up to play every week, and I couldn't have agreed more with those tweets. Like, I just, whenever they ran out of the tunnel, I was damn proud of that team for just showing up. But then they went on to also continue to win and just go to, like, it was a storybook. Like, Disney has to make a movie about it someday. It's storybook and how it ends that season, everything about it. Sorry, I'm going on a little bit of a tangent, but just to say that kind of, when you talk about best games you've witnessed, that those 4 were really special. Did you have one that you liked more than others, Hollywood?
One that sticks out to me, and this is going back a bit when Utah was still in the Mountain West, was the blackout game against TCU. That was a great game, great finish. You know, you look back at all the different things. For me, that was, I think, the first year that we started getting season tickets and going up to the U on a consistent basis. And so to be at that game and have the finish that was there was one that I just will always remember. But I also hate Alabama. So the Sugar Bowl for me was one of the best games that I remember watching, and just the way that they dismantled an Alabama team. You know, I think that was the first, that really kind of opened the door for a lot of the non-Power 5 schools to come in and start to show that they can put a program together that can compete at that level.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Were you, did you go to the, speaking of 2004, or no, you had blackout 2008. Were you, did you go to any 04 games?
No.
I was wondering, that's another one, beating BYU to finish that 04 season and storming the field and taking down the field goal posts. There's so many games that, like, we could all choose from. It's just so good. Good picks. The blackout game was incredible.
There's 8 I could pick from that 2019 season too, just absolutely manhandling people at home. And do you remember the tickets in 04? Like our tickets, like as kids? What do they call that thing? It was like the
Junior Ute Club.
Yeah, the Junior Ute Club.
In the North End Zone. That's where they put the kids in the North End Zone.
$50 for the season or something crazy like that. And we just go sit in the end zone. Which is crazy because our parents would like sit there with binocs watching us from across the stadium in their seats. I mean, we were just sitting over there practically on the field, seems like. It's amazing. Times have changed.
There's a good story someday for a good tailgate. The 2004 BYU Utah tailgate, getting on College game day, getting a sign taken away. I'm not going to say, I guess, I don't know. We can talk about what the sign said, but it got taken away instantly after we worked to get it all the way to the front. But then at the tailgate, we had a mean football game going on with a former Utah football player, Pierre Jones. And IddyBiddy Ute hit a tree full body. Like, I've never seen somebody hit a tree. Tree still stands. Well, if you have anything to add to that, IddyBiddy.
Yeah, it's probably why I still pee my pants every time the microwave turns on. But yeah, it was like one of those newer pine trees, and it just like bent in half and then like flung me back. It was an unbelievable throw, dude. Just looking back at the ball, led me right in the tree.
In the snow, too. It was snowing.
Yeah, it was cold.
Incredible. Such a good tailgate. And you know what crazy about that is the night before Utah basketball played, I don't know who they played. We went up to the game, watched Utah basketball, got home, and that was the night of the Malice in the Palace between the Pacers and the Pistons. And it was all over SportsCenter. And we watched the Malice in the Palace reruns until like 3 a.m. And then we went up to the tailgate and did game day, all that. I don't know, crazy, fun time.
Prime living.
Have any other questions you wanted to cover in this?
You want to know what I thought of? I remember it had to have been like 2013, 2014. I'll have to go back and look. But I got invited to go down to BYU to watch a BYU Utah game with a buddy. And he thought for sure BYU's going to cream them. First snap of the game goes over the
2011.
2011?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was an absolute beatdown. And I just sat there the whole time with the biggest smile on my face. You couldn't have scripted it any better for Utah to go down to Provo and just absolutely manhandle. And that was going to be one of the questions that I wanted to ask you guys was, do you think either one of the BYU or Utah teams has a better advantage when the rivalry game is at their house? And if so, who is it?
Yeah, Utah for sure. Utah's a way harder place to play. It seats less, but it's shaped better and it's louder. But also look at the records. Like we own them on their field over the history. Even when we started like turning the rivalry back in the early 90s, like the wins were coming down there mostly.
Yeah, you take out the 80s. I mean, we've dominated them. So yeah, for sure, Utah.
I love that they had reason to really believe like why they were going to kill us that game too, because Jake Heaps the year before as a freshman and their prize recruit should have beat us at home. He looked really good in that game. They got kind of screwed on some calls. Then we had the block one. So I kind of went into that game the next year in 2011 thinking we were going to get killed as well because Jake Heaps looked unstoppable the year before. And then, yeah, first, I was wondering, I think if that play where it snaps over his head and he tries to pick it up, then falls into the end zone with the ball, I think if that happened in 2025 with everything that's going on, people would think that he had money on Utah in some sense because you rewatch that play. It's just like, what was he doing? And he was a decent quarterback until that moment. The moment broke him. Great moment. Great day. Great time to be in that stadium. Glad you were there, Hollywood.
Yes, I was. The best part about that was it's kind of like their Crimson Club, but it's on the east side of the stadium, and they bring out these cups of like Swedish Fish and Sour Patch Kids. And so we walked over there at halftime because everybody had left, and we had piles of snacks and candy and water bottles. We didn't have to pay for anything because everybody that was sitting in these expensive seats got up and left because they didn't want to be there anymore. Not a lot of diehard fans in Provo.
I love that. I've spent time over there on the east side after a couple of wins. I think it was our 7th straight win that I was over there. That 11 game though, my dad, my old man who's lived through those tough 70s and 80s years. We were in the Utah section and we were pretty high up, but it had kind of cleared out enough for like the 4th quarter when it was just really like we were raining it down on them. And he was the very last row of the stadium and just like propped himself up and was just shouting down, like kind of had his belly on the wall, shouting down at every BYU fan that he could possibly yell at, of just how bad we were manhandling him. And he was saying all sorts. I was like holding him by his belt loops to like make sure he didn't fall over. That's how animated he was getting. And it was one of those things too, like you can tell when somebody's yelling at somebody because they're trying to get clips or get a reaction or something, or you conversely also can see when somebody's yelling at somebody because they truly like have passion in their heart and like truly like mean what they're saying. And it was just one of those moments, like I wasn't telling him to shut up or anything because you could just see the passion and the hurt from all the years of them blowing us out, that he finally got to experience one where we weren't supposed to. It wasn't an undefeated season like 04 or 08, and it was in their place that he got to just return it. A lot of years of pain and suffering coming out in that moment, and I enjoyed seeing it come out on all the top of their head.
I can see it, dude. I can just vision that happening right now.
It was great. Good times. Yeah, no.
I think that's probably a good place to wrap it up for today.
Yeah.
That's it for this episode of Tailgate Talk, hosted by DB Cooper and IddyBiddy Ute, produced by Hollywood. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share with your tailgate crew. Join us next time for more sports talk, food, and fun. Until next time, keep the grill hot and the stories hotter.